It's been 2 weeks. Are we still upset about this movie? What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here, finally doing my spoiler review for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. That's right. I apologize, guys. It's been pretty crazy around the holidays this year, family stuff and everything like that. And then trying to keep up everything else. It's just been nutties. But here we go, guys. Here's my spoiler review. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the spoilery things. I'm not going to go from the movie from start to finish or anything like that. I got a little list here, and try to be in chronological order as best as I can. But of course, you know me, I go off on tangents. So here we go, guys. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, if you saw my original review, I liked it. I enjoyed it. And of course, I wanted to wait to see it again, and I didn't have time to see it, in that week. And I saw it Christmas Day, actually. It took my mom because she wanted to see it. And of course, I enjoyed it much better the second time because now you know exactly what to expect. The scenes that did bother me, that maybe bothered me in my initial screening, it didn't bother me this much. Not at all, really. The opening sequence with Poe and, the whole Resistance kind of just like attacking Hux and all them was pretty awesome. They did something different. They had these battleships that basically dropped bombs and just destroyed like the cannon. Or first, like Poe had to destroy all these cannons, and then of course he had a little fun with Hux, which I thought was, a lot of people were hating the fact that they injected too many jokes in this movie. I thought that joke was actually pretty humorous. As far as dropping bombs in space, that's a little strange. Maybe if they showed the bombs actually, being propelled down, because there's no gravity in space. We know that. But still, it was something different little sequence. And then, of course, Poe, he's in this movie, Poe, he does not like authority at all. And I guess we got a sense of that a little bit in Force Awakens, but he wasn't in the movie that much. In this movie, we got a big sense of it, that he hates authority big time. Then we go to the island where Luke and Rey are at, and that whole big dramatic scene that we got at the end of Force Awakens, and Luke's looking at the lightsaber, and he decides to just toss it and walk away. Talk about a humorous part. A lot of people just chuckled both screenings because you just don't expect that to happen. And you know what? A lot of people are saying that was like a big middle finger to JJ, but was it really? It's just, to me, it doesn't seem like, JJ praised the absolute shit out of this script. Of course, that could be all PR. I know what you guys are saying, especially with the stuff that like Mark Hamill's been saying and everything. But to me, what I got a sense of both times, actually, it didn't bother me what they did with Luke's character too much. I wanted certain things to happen. I wanted to see this, I wanted to see that, and I think that's where the lines get really blurry when it comes to people just getting really pissed off because, you build something up for 2 years and you have all these theories and everything. I had my theories about Luke and stuff, but I actually kind of dug the fact that he was a hermit, that he did seclude himself. First off, he was trying to find the original Jedi temple, and, he essentially did find it. A lot of people are going, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would he leave a map? And it's like, well, he had a map to the temple. He didn't have a map to where he was located. And sure, the Jedi temple stuff, I thought that could have been better. It could have been handled a little bit better. I was actually really looking forward to that. But, but when it comes to him being a hermit, and just some of the stuff he says, how he's reluctant to train Rey at first, and then you see him, she kind of follows him throughout the day, him catching fish, milking the... Hey, they answered that question, right? We were wondering where the blue milk came from. Some say it was green. I don't know. I'm just saying we found out where the milk comes from. But I kind of got it because, look what happened with Yoda. When we met Yoda in Empire, he was Looney Tunes. He was on a secluded planet. Same thing with Obi-Wan. He secluded himself when shit went down. A lot of people would wish, and even Mark Hamill has even said that he was, he's full of optimism. Why would he do that? Why would he turn his back on, people so much? But what's interesting about that, too, is when we finally get to see kind of what happened with Ben and everything, what went down. We don't really get a sense of the Knights of Ren, which was kind of disappointing. I was hoping to hear more about the Knights of Ren. But we do see a couple versions of what happened. First Ben says that, oh yeah, he tried to kill me in my sleep, and you see a version of that. And it was kind of cool shot when he just does that, and the whole place just goes... Then we get what Luke said. He said like that when he was sleeping, he was feeling that Snoke's already got to him. He's feeling this evil in there, and that he had to basically destroy him and stuff like that. So it was a whole big thing. And then, of course, Rey is like caught in the middle of it because she's being bridged, a connection, like space Skype almost, where you know, her and Ben are talking with each other, which I thought was pretty interesting because you do get it. You had like a sense of that throughout the whole saga, really. You know, when Luke cries out for Leia when he's on the bottom of the Sky City and stuff like that. I mean, it's all there. They could sense each other, but Snoke, which we find out, bridged the two minds together where they can actually speak to one another. And a lot of people are, of course, making fun of the fact that Kylo Ren or Ben was shirtless in one scene. There's a lot of memes out for it, and I just kind of go, man, good thing it wasn't a woman. Could you imagine if there was memes of a woman's body? Oh, there'd be outrage. But it's a dude. Who cares, right? It's just kind of funny to see, like, I mean, they're pretty hilarious, these memes, making him look like he's like a block and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, I just thought he was a built dude. Anyways, the reason why Rian Johnson put that in there was so that, yes, we could tell that she could actually physically see him, you know? That's pretty much what he has stated, and I guess that does make sense. But it was interesting to see that because there was like a moment too where, you know, because it's raining where she is, and then he had some water on her. I mean, they could actually pretty much touch each other. So pretty much what they were doing with that was building up. It was foreshadowing because they're building up to what Luke eventually does. Leia Mary Poppins in space. Now, this is a big controversial moment in the movie, and I admit that I was kind of going, wow, this is just, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it was kind of going, but what I really took away from it was more of, hey, we're finally seeing Leia use her force powers. I was hoping it'd be for something where she takes a lightsaber or something like that. I think a lot of people wanted that, but that was just the obvious choice, and Rian Johnson, and they just wanted to do something different, and that's why I got to commend that. And the fact that she was still able to stay alive and she floated on back to the door and everything, and then she zonked that again, and then even used force powers yet again to knock down the door to get to Poe and everything. You know, it was just nice to see that. The only thing I don't get is what are they going to do with Star Wars 9? Because, I mean, you'd think that they would... Honestly, I totally agree with Kevin Smith. She should have been on the ship when it zipped off into light speed and tore through all the ships. Like I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head, Laura Dern's character. I wish it was Leia too. It would have been a nice little send-off and just been a bit of like, fuck you First Order, fuck you Empire kind of thing that Leia's been dealing with. I totally agree with that. It should have been something like that, but they didn't kill her off because they said they weren't going to kill her off. The Finn and Rose little subplot, because obviously they had to get a code breaker, and then to get onto Snoke's ship and everything, they needed to do all that. And it's just, oh man, it was originally apparently supposed to be him and Poe doing some stuff, and I wish that was the case. I didn't mind Rose's character, don't get me wrong, but it's just, she just felt unnecessary a little bit. But I get she was connected to the chick. Her sister died in the first battle. And of course they had that medallion and everything, the half of the medallion. So I mean, I get it. And I didn't mind her character. She was an alright character, even though it was pretty cringy when she saves Finn's ass at the end during that fight on that salty planet. When they're going, and I mean, I thought Finn was gonna die. See, I told you, I was gonna try to do chronologically, but I'm just jumping all over the place. I thought Finn was gonna die though, and I was going, holy shit, they're gonna kill Finn. And I was going, I cannot believe this. And then it was a nice little twist that she knocked him out of the way. And yeah, it was a little cringy with what she said, but you know, when it comes to their little subplot, it got a little too like Harry Pottery Disney-ish, because they're like riding these fucking wild horse things through like, and they're getting chased. It got a little weird. The casino planet didn't bother me that much, or the casino city, whatever. But it was just that part. Yeah, it felt unnecessary. I like Benicio del Toro's character. I dig him because he was all over the place. He didn't know if he was good or bad, and I don't think he knew either. He basically showed that where the good and the bad, where they get their machinery, their ships and everything. I mean, pretty much the people on this planet. That's what this was showing, and I commend Rian Johnson from this too. Is the fact that these people on this casino planet, they're all filthy rich, and the reason why is because they sell weapons to not just one side, to all sides. He's going through like the holograms, and you see a bunch of First Order ships and weaponry and everything like that, and then you see an X-Wing, and it's just, that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of cool because you never really saw that. You just thought, oh, they just have ships, they have guns. Who knows where that came from? Oh, this is where they're coming from. I mean, that's a little spin-off that they could maybe play with too, honestly. Show a spin-off of like these people that sell weapons to the First Order and the Resistance. I kind of dig it. The scene in Snoke's quarters where he eventually sees his demise, that was probably my favorite scene of the whole thing because there's a lot of tension because he's fucking around with Rey, knocking her all over the place. She even like gets Kylo Ren's lightsaber and does some shit, but you know, it was pretty intense. A lot of people are going, "Are you kidding me? Snoke? He's so powerful. How did he not see Ben like, you know, moving the lightsaber?" Well, he did. When I watched it again, listen to what he says. He talks about what Ben is doing is distracting him with his own lightsaber while moving the other. Because he even says, like Snoke even says, I could feel him turning his lightsaber. Because he's doing this. He grabs the lightsaber and he starts doing this at the same time as he's turning the other lightsaber. So he's kind of distracting him. And Snoke's old. So I think that's part of it, but it does kind of suck that he just got sliced in half, and then that was it. We don't really find out much about him, but I don't think that's the end of his story. There's a lot of things in here that people think, oh, geez, we didn't get any answers. The end of the story. When it comes to Snoke and it comes to Rey's parents, who apparently are just a bunch of drunkies that left her on a planet for drinking money, I don't think that's the case at all. And I'm going to do more videos about that, so I won't get into big-time detail. I just don't think a lot of questions were answered in this movie. I think more so this movie was trying to almost pave the way a little bit for Rian Johnson's future trilogy. But that scene when he slices him in half, she gets the lightsaber, and all the guards just like, all right, it's time to throw down. And you get that one shot that pulls back, and it's kind of in slow motion, and then they start just fucking everybody up. That gives me goosebumps thinking about it right now. The Resistance trying to get on that planet. Sorry I don't know the names. You know, I didn't look up the names. I totally forgot what the planet was called, you know, with the salt and everything. They try to get on there, and they're trying to distract with the other ship, and they're just unloading all that stuff. And then Laura Dern's character decides to just... This is probably one of the... You never seen this in a Star Wars movie. You never seen this really, I don't think, in a space movie altogether, where she just hits the light speed and tears through the ships, and there's no sound. Oops, excuse me. No sound! Sorry, I had a little burp right there, but no sound. It just goes, because in space, there would be a delay. Oh, man. It's so beautiful. And I mean, both times when I watched it, people were just in awe for it. Like, wow. That was such a beautiful freaking scene. One of the most beautiful shot, or not shot, but, you know, just one of the most beautiful scenes in a space movie. But I agree, it should have been Leia. And then, of course, we had the final battle on the planet. Pretty good. You know, you got like some AT-ATs looking things that look more gorilla-like because their front hands, I guess you could say, look like that. And yeah, then Luke shows up after talking to Yoda. That's right, talking to Yoda. He was about to burn the Jedi text in the tree and everything, the sacred tree, and then he decided not to. And then Yoda shows up, and it's not just like CGI Yoda. I was very like, wow, they use puppet old Yoda that they use in Empire. I mean, that was awesome. I thought that was great. And he talks to him a little bit. I was wondering if if Obi-Wan was going to show up, maybe Anakin. I think a lot of people were, but no, he didn't. And then Yoda just says, "Fuck it, man. They didn't read well. They need a burn. There needs a whole." This movie really was all about, hey, forget about the past. Even Ben says that. He says, "Forget the past." So that's why I think a lot of people, that's why they're pissed. It's like they're having a little bit of trouble doing that. I don't know. But that was pretty interesting. And then, of course, we have Luke show up when they have their like final resistance. They're on this base. They have a big door, and there's going to be like a cannon that's just going to blow right through it. Luke shows up, and that's a nice little scene. I get choked up. I got choked up both times because he's talking to Leia, and then he gives her a kiss. Beautiful shot. Gives a little wink to C-3PO, and then he goes out there, and it's just goosebumps on top of fucking goosebumps. Luke, just right up against the First Order, and it's just like, that's what you wanted to see right there. And then they just start firing at him. Ben is just full of mixed emotions. And a lot of people are saying that Ben kind of represents what Anakin's story should have been, and I totally agree with that. Like, the way that Anakin's story should have been taken care of in the prequels is the way that Ben's story is being handled right now, and I think it's great. They just start firing at him, and you're like, there's no way that he died. And you're just wondering, how is it going to happen? And of course, he's just standing there, and he gives one of these nice little moment. You're just going, holy shit. And then finally Ben comes down, and I love how he ignites his lightsaber. He does that little stomp thing. I don't know why. I just dig that. There's something. I mean, he's not menacing enough because he's just like, he looks too pretty with that goddamn mop. But sometimes when he little things, I just like what he does, you know. And then we have a little lightsaber battle and some slow motion shots, just looking beautiful. And the first time I watched it, when Ben was charging and then he went right through, I went like this. I went like that because I'm going, they're gonna strike him down. And then all of a sudden, Luke's just standing there. And you're going, what in the hell? And then you find out that he's a projection, he's a hologram, and nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. There's a lot of twists and turns in this movie that you just do not see coming. If everything panned out the way that people thought they were going to pan out, I think it would have been kind of dull. But the fact of that it just took these crazy turns, I respect it. I really do. And then we find that he's still on the island. He's on that rock on that cliff, and he's floating up, and you can tell he's struggling because he's just using his all. Everything about it, even though he said he disconnected himself from the Force, he's using his all to try to do this and try to just do something. He falls down, he climbs back up, and then there's just a beautiful shot. You see the two suns, and we know that what that's representing, that iconic shot from A New Hope with that awesome John Williams score. And you see the suns in the distance, and it's just a kid going, I'm meant for something else. And now you see an old man, that same kid, going, I did it. I did what I needed to do. Now I can die. He fades away, and then later on you hear Rey talk about, you heard fulfillment, purpose. He didn't die a decrepit old man. He died that, hey, I did my thing, and we're gonna see more from him. Don't think that there's gonna be no Luke Skywalker in Episode 9. Come on. As for setting up future movies, I think that's what Rian Johnson was kind of doing, especially when you have the little boy at the end who he has the Force, he has the Resistance ring right there, and yeah, you could see, and he's even holding the broomstick like a Jedi. So I think that kid is going to be something new, and I think that's what Rian Johnson was partly kind of doing. He wasn't really setting up Episode 9 so much because it ends very much like Return of the Jedi ends, with everybody in there and everybody's all happy and everything. It didn't really end like Empire did. I mean, I think they were really trying not to rehash Empire, given the fact that everybody was like, it's just rehash A New Hope, Force Awakens. Well, now they tried something different, and people, oh, it's interesting. But there you go, guys. That's pretty much the points I wanted to talk about. Is it a perfect Star Wars movie for me? No. But watching it a second time, I'm trying to figure out if I like it better than Force Awakens now. At first, I was going, I like Force Awakens better. But now when I watched it again, the third act is definitely better than the third act of Force Awakens. The final battle, it's better. It is. It just is because it's different, and I don't know. It's better with the whole Luke thing, and just you didn't see that coming, and I don't know. To me, that is. But I just talk about the overall movie. I'm gonna do, like I said, videos on the other channel about my rankings of the Star Wars movie, the 9 Star Wars movies. I'm gonna include Rogue One. Some people aren't doing that, but I'm including Rogue One, of course. Anyways, guys, so there's my spoiler review. Let me know your thoughts about it down below. What do you think about some of the stuff I talked about? And yeah, I'm not on the side of hating this movie. I'm not. It's a good movie. I can't wait to watch it again in the comfort of my own home. I'm not gonna go to the movies again and watch it, but it's not one of those where I got to see it like 4 or 5 times in the theaters. I give it that. But I still enjoyed it. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts about it down below. Hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the other channel too. Follow me in the social media stuff floating above my head. And of course, I got shirts available. Go get them, guys. All right. Talk to you later.